friends, good morning. Today is the final Sunday of our Kings of Summer series. All summer long, we have been learning about the kings of Israel. And I know that this past week, many of you went back to school. And so that means it is the right time for us to finish our Kings of Summer series and move into our next series next week. But we have one more lesson in our Kings of Summer series, and this Sunday, today, we are learning about one more king, and his name was Josiah. And it's so cool that we get to finish this series with Josiah, because Josiah was kind of an unusual king. Do you want to know why? When he became king, he was 8 years old. 8 years old. Hey, some of you are 8 years old. Josiah was a kid when he became king. And this is really special that we get to end our summer series learning about a kid who was king, and not just a kid who was king, but a kid who was king and chose to follow God. Because you might remember, just last week we learned about a grown-up king, King Ahab, who did not choose to follow God. Just because you're a grown-up doesn't mean that you make good decisions. Just because you're a grown-up doesn't mean you set a good example. But here we have a kid who chose to follow God, to make good decisions, to set a good example for the people. And so today in our kids' classes, we are learning about King Josiah. And that's why I put on my crown today, to help us think about all of us and what we would do if we were in King Josiah's shoes, how we would try to be a good king like King Josiah does in the story. And then to take that one step further. Okay, so maybe none of us are kings, right? Or queens, whatever the case may be, but we can still do those same things that King Josiah does in our regular life. We can still choose to follow God. We can still choose to make good decisions, and we can still choose to set an example of God's way for the people in our lives, whether that's at school, at home, at church, in your neighborhood, wherever it may be. We can still follow God, just like King Josiah does in this week's story. So I'm really excited about this final lesson. Thank you for joining us for our summer series, and that's it for me for today. I'll see you next time. Bye.